youtube.com/MayhewMayhem. That's youtube.com/MayhewMayhem.
Hello and welcome to another episode of 30 Minutes of Mayhem. I am your host, my name is Michael Mayhew, and I am here with my co-hosts.
Hi everybody, it's James, and with us is the guy that smells like inner asshole.
What's up everybody, it's me Greg, and we are joined, unfortunately, for the last time by this worthless piece of shit who decided to pussy out on us.
Scott.
30 Minutes of Mayhem is available on YouTube, iTunes, Android, Stitcher, and Spreaker. All you have to do is search MayhewMayhem. That's MayhewMayhem, and make sure you rate us 5 stars.
Also, you can help us afford to continue doing the show by donating to 30 Minutes of Mayhem via PayPal. Just use the email address in the description, 30minutesofmayhem@gmail.com.
As I said, welcome to 30 Minutes of Mayhem, the podcast your mother can be ashamed of. And tell me, Scott, why is this the podcast your mother can be ashamed of?
Suicide.
That is exactly correct. As Greg already pointed out, this is going to be Scott's final episode. But before we start Scott's final episode, I just want to kind of make an observation, give my little opinion on something. So the other day, in my Facebook feed, I saw something about Miley Cyrus. And we've talked about her before on the podcast, I believe twice before. So I was reading this thing about her, and there was a couple pictures of her in this little article thing. I don't even remember what it was about. And I was looking at her, and I was like, Miley needs to do some squats. Because she has zero ass.
That's true.
I mean,
all the twerking she does, it's like she needs more of a booty.
Absolutely no ass. And then I started thinking about, you know what? If she did some squats, gained an ass, and was at least a half-decent person, I'd give that a go. I'd put it in her poop.
Give that a go.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the reason this is the podcast your mother can be ashamed of. So our first topic of Scott's final episode is, does the failure of others make you happy? Kind of like a I told you so situation.
Yes, because I like seeing people suffer. No,
Is it kind of like you like to see people suffer, like their skin zipper getting opened up type of suffer?
Basically, it depends on what they did. If they did something viciously horrible, then watching them get tortured would be, hilarious to me. But if all they did was, just, slight me in, just a minor way, I would still laugh at them getting tortured. Oh, wait, no, that wasn't supposed to be my answer. I've never been, a super huge believer in karma, but there are a lot of times where I feel like karma kind of might be something that actually exists, because there are just some times when, somebody just does something really, really fucking awful, either to you or just to people in general, and you fucking despise that person. You hate their guts with all your might. And then the next thing you know, some really horrible shit happens to them, they get into a car accident and whoops, they can no longer walk, or they lose their job, or
they get their skin zipper open.
Yeah, they have their skin zipper opened, or they made fun of you in school, and then now that you're older, they're stuck flipping burgers at McDonald's for the rest of their lives, or something like that, I mean, that sort of thing, it feels so satisfying knowing that for all the shit somebody put, either you or just people in general, maybe not just you, maybe somebody close to you or something, it just feels so satisfying knowing that they're getting their just desserts after all the shit they put you or whoever you know or don't know through. Just feels so satisfying.
I have to agree with you, and primarily you talked about karma, because I am a believer in karma, so I love when one gets their karma. And especially I love when somebody says, not necessarily does something to me, but I will go with does something to me, or says some shit to me about you're a piece of shit, which, let's be honest, I probably am, right? And you're never going to fucking do anything or be anything and yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, let's be honest, they're probably right. But when they have, say, they put years and years and years worth of time and education into a specific career field, and they finish that education. They get their certifications, and then they choose not to work in their field, and then they get stuck working some dead-ass end job at, say, retail store, and you're like, you wasted all of that time and money after you've talked all that shit that you talked, and now you're working a dead-ass end job that's going to get you nowhere in life. Even if you rise to be a manager, you're really not going to be making that much money. You threw everything away that you could have done because you're a failure. Oh, how I'm a failure, and it's because you had to be a piece of shit to begin with. Go fuck yourself. That's a rant that's not even relevant to what we're talking about.
Well, I'm glad you got that out of your system.
Now that I tangented on something that's not even related to what we're talking about, I'll answer the question. I love the failure of others when they've wronged me or, like Greg said, someone else that I know. When something bad or when karma gets them, I fucking love it because they deserve every single second of it. That's the long and short of my answer.
I have to agree and I have to disagree, sort of. Because I don't want to see the people I like fail and stuff like that. But I agree with you guys, and yeah, I'd like to see pieces of shit fail. But yeah, it does suck whenever it's somebody that is close to you.
So do you get joy out of it or no?
I get joy out of other people, not myself, and not the people I love. But other people, yes.
Scott, what do you think?
I honestly don't know.
This motherfucker picks this topic and then his answer is, I don't know.
Jesus Christ.
I would have to say, in my position, it's a very difficult. I'd have to go through a lot in order to explain my position, and I think it is a situation where I cannot sum it up to explain to you guys.
If someone wrongs you and then something bad happens to them after they wrong you, does that give you joy?
Well, no. I don't. I think that's actually wrong. To
feel that way.
To feel that way, yes.
Oh boy, can't wait till you fail.
What the fuck? Go on.
This is what I also hate too. That I hate the phrase, but we're just human. We do mess up, and we.
So you say no, that the failures of others doesn't make you happy. Because why? You don't like to see people fail?
Kind of that. In a way, we all need to learn somehow. Back when I fell into a type of new age. I wasn't exactly a new ager. It was just, I was in that circle. Not the crystal type one. Not the crystal weirdo people, but...
So not methamphetamines?
No, I'm not talking about
he means the
crystal.
healing crystals.
Yeah, the healing crystals.
So not methamphetamine.
Yeah, but no,
So yes, methamphetamine. I'm confused. Are we talking about meth here, or are we not?
No, we're not.
Was it that blue sky, or no? You probably can't get that blue...
meth?
You probably can't get that blue sky in Steubenville.
No, we can't. I don't know, and that's off topic.
Is somebody selling meth or not?
Yeah, because James is really jonesing here.
Where was I now?
You were telling us where that people sell meth here locally.
Please.
We're gonna bust these people out. No meth in our town, and this is how we're gonna take you down.
Wait, what's your address? I'll be over in 5 minutes.
We're gonna shoot them up, blap blap.
Blap blap.
So what about meth makes you happy?
I thought that's what it was supposed to do.
Oh, well, touche. Alright, so you were talking about this group of people that smoke meth, and you were involved with that? Were you involved with the sale or manufacture of meth? I'm confused at what we're talking about here, because we keep getting so far off the topic.
No, I'm not. I don't know. I can't.
You can't bust out the people you were involved with?
I can't deal with this right now.
So deal, as in you dealt meth?
Sure, why not? I did.
He's the cops.
Oh, so you're the police. That's why you can't give a straight answer. So, are you a CI?
CI? What the hell is a CI?
See, now he's playing it off. He's like, I don't know what CI stands for, confidential informant. I don't know anything about that. So now, the reason why you're struggling with answering this topic is because the people that you were involved with either the sale or manufacture of meth went down, and you were happy about their failure, but you were also the cause of their failure. So that is why you're struggling to answer this topic. That's what I'm gathering from this.
Yes, fine. That's exactly what you uncovered the mystery. Bravo, Mike. Bravo.
So let's move on to this next one, which is questions from listeners. Remember, you can email us at 30minutesofmayhem@gmail.com. You can tweet at us, 30MINS of Mayhem on Twitter. You can leave comments and stuff on Facebook, all of that into the video here on YouTube if you're listening to it on here, or wherever. You can submit us questions, and we will possibly read them on a future show. So this first email comes from Anonymous, not like the Anonymous. I'm just going to call them Anonymous because they didn't sign it. And I think Greg's going to really enjoy this one. So, Greg, I'll let you have the first crack at it.
Okie dokie.
The email reads, "Why do you guys even try? You suck."
Just to prove people like you wrong, bitch.
Okay. Thanks for the email. Okay. So, why do we even try? We suck. Why don't you do it?
If you think it's so easy, why the fuck don't you do it? I mean, I know that's kind of a shitty answer, but at the same time, it's like, I mean, this isn't rocket science.
I'm not saying we have the best podcast on the planet, because
No.
Let's face it, by all means, we do not. We've progressively got better over the amount of time that we've done this, but are we, everyone's cup of tea? No, and we never will be everyone's cup of tea.
And I don't want to be everyone's cup of tea because, that's
I thought he was going to say
boring.
I thought he was going to say that fucking saying that fucking skanks say. I don't want to be everyone's cup of tea. I'd rather be somebody's shot of whiskey.
God. I didn't even know about that fucking.
I'm like, bitch, you're a skank. Shut your mouth. But anyways, so my answer to you is, like I said, I don't want to be everyone's cup of tea. Well, I think Greg actually is the one that said that. I don't want to be everyone's cup of tea. We're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. I'm totally fine with that. If people enjoy what we do, that's the whole point of it. You don't enjoy it, sorry. So, email number 2. This was actually not an email, so I lied. It was a comment on a old episode of the podcast. And I don't have the whole comment here, but I'll just read to you what I can see. "You're boring as fuck. I will not waste my time with any other videos of yours. No, thank you."
I don't think we
Was
need...
that from...
I'm going to cut that out.
Yeah.
So, go on, Scott. What were you going to say?
I was about to say, I don't think we need to reiterate what we just said earlier. So I'd say we move on.
I say to you, good sir, again, we're not everyone's cup of tea. So far, emails from the previous times we've done them have all been positive. So I wanted to actually cover some of the negative emails here. Yeah, the answer, as Scott said, there's no point in being redundant. The answer remains the same.
Yeah, I enjoy it. It's not boring to me.
Yeah, I mean, hell, we all have fun. As long as we're having fun, that's the point, right?
I can care less.
Couldn't care less.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I mean, we all have fun. There's people out there that do enjoy it, and that's all that I honestly give a shit about, to be completely serious. We have fun. People enjoy what we do. That's all I give a fuck about. I mean, would I like to be, bigger, get out to more people, and give more people enjoyment? I mean, no shit. Duh. Again, we're going to be somebody's shot of whiskey. We ain't going to be everyone's cup of tea. The final question we have here from a listener is from Adam, again, because he has a lot of questions, apparently. His question is, which would you rather have? A roommate who pays all of the rent, but is an asshole, and you cannot stand them? Or a roommate who pays a third of the rent, but cleans and cooks?
That's easy. Roommate who pays a third of the rent and cleans and cooks. Bam.
Actually, Greg might be onto something here. If you struck up a deal where he cleans and cooks, or she, or whatever the situation is, does all the household stuff, and you just did all the, what the hell is that called? The bills, just all of that, then, just go 50-50 on the whole living arrangement. I don't think it's a incorrect situation. I think it's just that Greg has a good idea.
You think that if a person pays a third of the rent but cooks and cleans, that's a better situation than a person that pays all of the rent and they're a piece of shit?
Yeah, because, you have to deal with their bitching, and they would just be pissing you off left and right, and would you seriously want to come home every time with them just
Being a fucking dick.
if you had a stressful day and you come home to this dick,
or if they're a woman, a bitch. We're all about equality here, okay? I end up murdering him, and then you'd end up in jail, and I mean that's no
or
fun.
suicide, or both. Homicide, suicide.
No, homicide, Scott. We've been through this before. Homicide before suicide. Why kill yourself? That doesn't fix any of your problems.
No, that's what
fix the problem by killing the person responsible for them.
Craig,
they've actually talked about this. I think Scott's hinting to us. I think he's going to commit suicide after this episode. That's why it's his final episode.
Bye, guys. Yeah, it was nice working with you. Oh shit!
You are not
suicide.
I choose the asshole
because
feel like it's a trick question, and I choose the asshole.
Okay, why do you feel like it's a trick question?
Because Adam's a tricky guy.
Well, it's because he's trained with psychology. Of course, he's a tricky person.
That's my point. I choose the asshole because I'd rather cook myself, clean myself, or whatever, and not have to put forth so much money, I guess. Because they're only playing third to rent, but they're cooking and cleaning, so I feel like it'd be a female no matter what, because no guy would do that. I'd choose the asshole.
He wants that brown. I kind of have to agree with James. Because, well, I'm an asshole. So I would rather them take care of 100% of the rent, and then I'm going to worry about food and cleaning myself. Now, if they don't do any cleaning at all, that's fine with me, because I will clean my portions of things and they can live in squalor. I will cook for myself and they can starve, but the rent's going to be taken care of. We basically split down the center, because two of us said the cooks and cleans third of the rent, and two of us said all of the rent, total asshole. So it appears, Adam, that this is indeed a very tricky question. That is, 30 Minutes of Mayhem wise, split straight down the center. There is no definitive answer. So if you, the listener, have an answer to this question, by all means, let us know what you think. So remember, you can email us at 30minutesofmayhem@gmail.com, tweet at us 30MINS of Mayhem on Twitter, leave it on Facebook or YouTube, and we may answer your questions on a future episode. For the third and final topic, we are going to revisit a topic that was originally on episode 17, because I feel like there has been so much advancement, if you will, since we covered this a few years ago, and that is, should gay marriage be legalized?
Yes. I feel like everybody wants something, but why make it impossible, I guess? I don't think there should be any laws against that. I don't care if you're gay or whatever. You're either a good person or you're not a good person. That's how I judge you. I don't judge you whether you're black, white, purple, green, gay or straight, female or male. But I feel like we're just being assholes by not letting them do what they want to do.
I mean, my opinion is straight up, I don't care. Don't give a fuck. It doesn't affect my life. Why should I give a fuck? And it's no one else's business what other people do, as long as it's not harming you, which there's no way in shape or form that two people, regardless of their sex, getting married can affect your life. So quit being a piece of shit. It's gonna happen. So standing up against it.
Yeah, I mean, look at how many states have already legalized it. Like, what is it, 19 or 20 states? It's almost half the fucking country has legalized it. It's like, it's a losing battle.
Well, yeah, why waste your time and effort when it's going to happen? Because the people our age and people even younger than us don't care, because it doesn't affect our lives in any negative way. It will happen. Marijuana will be legalized. Why are you fighting a losing battle? That's my opinion.
You reiterated what I already said, that it was a losing battle. There was no point in them fighting against it, because almost half of the states in the United States have already legalized gay marriage. So it's like, why even bother fighting against it? You're going to lose. I mean, you might as well save face and not look like the pieces of shit you're acting like. Stop being assholes.
I feel like some people are just sick with it being slammed into their head that way through their dear holy Bible. I don't know why.
Which, as Adam points it out in episode 17 about that part in the Bible, why it doesn't make sense in today's life. So if you want to hear about that particular section of the argument, Adam does cover it in episode 17. Scott, I hear you making a bunch of noise, so you might as well go ahead.
I feel as if it has been a religious thing that has now, like a lot of things here in America, has become politicalized. United States was founded more or less to be religiously, spiritually ambiguous. That way everyone could do what they want, but we did have a Christian foundation, which was, I suppose, part of or at least was an element in the whole situation. My ultimate answer is yes, but there's so much complexity behind it because of that religious element behind it. That's what I'm trying to say. Well, the Catholic Church, I'm no longer Catholic, but I can't remember. What was it that they...
That God loves everyone equally and that they don't hate gays in general. They just don't approve of their lifestyle.
That's what the church is saying?
Yes, because it doesn't follow God's natural order, which is supposed to be man and woman, which makes child, which to me, in a sense, makes sense. You know,
there are tons of other people who can't have kids.
So what I believe is that love doesn't have to just be anchored between man and woman. I believe that it could be universal, not like hippie universal, where it's just like, oh, free love. I believe that at least it is between two people who really love each other, and well, if they want to conventionally get married, they should be allowed to have that right.
So I heard this quote, and it said if they didn't use the term marriage, it would have never been an issue and would have been legalized nationwide. What do you think about that?
It's probably true, but it might not, because if there's one thing I've learned, it's that while there are some people who are against the idea of gay marriage simply on the basis that they see it as a redefinition of marriage or whatever, there are also tons of people who are against gay marriage because they're fucking awful people and they are horribly bigoted against homosexuals. Really, even if it wasn't called marriage, probably still be people who would be against it just because there are people out there who are that fucking awful.
I'm not so sure where did this come from and who was it said by?
That's not what's important. The quote is what's important. Do you feel that the quote has any levity, any balls to it, regardless of who said it? If gay marriage wasn't called gay marriage, or it wasn't called marriage, it was called a union or whatever, they were saying that if it wasn't called marriage, that there would have never been an issue. Do you think that that's true?
Honestly, I'm not so sure. I always feel like no matter what, those hypothetical questions, I always feel like if X weren't this way, then probably it wouldn't have happened or whatever. I'm always hesitant because I believe that somewhere, somehow...
no matter what, the result would have been the same.
More or less.
The way I was understanding what you were trying to say was that inevitably, no matter what, the result would be the same. The argument of the people that are against it for whatever bigoted ass reason would still be against it regardless of whether the word marriage was used, which is basically the same thing Greg said. James, what do you think?
I feel like, yeah, it would make a difference if it wasn't called marriage, because everybody wants to label stuff, and some people like labels, some people do not. Some people are against them, some people are for it, meaning it's theirs. Like, why should they have to share gay marriage? Why couldn't it be, like, something else? Like, I don't know. I guess if it wasn't marriage, then, yeah, it would probably already be gone. We wouldn't even have this issue.
My thought on it is, calling it anything other than marriage is super fucking disrespectful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because every human being, well, at least in the United States, we're all guaranteed the same rights by being a United States citizen. A specific, I'm going to say a group of people, even if that's disrespectful in itself, a specific group of people, just because their sexual preference isn't the same as yours, doesn't mean that a union between them should be called anything different than what a union between you and whoever your partner is, whether you're female and you're married to a guy, or if you're a guy married to a female. If you're a guy married to a guy, if you're a female married to a female, it's marriage. Titling it anything different is, in my opinion, dehumanizing to an extent.
Yeah.
Because when you lump, you can see in this country's history, you can see what happens when certain groups, again, putting that in air quotes, get lumped into that group with Native Americans.
And blacks.
Get lumped into a group and you see the shit that happened to them. Not saying that the same thing would happen to anyone that's gay, but with all the shit that happened in the South with, certain companies wouldn't hire blacks just because of their skin color. You're basically saying the same, well, these people, because of their sexual preference, can't have a marriage because their sexual preference is not the same as mine. It's the same shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's disrespectful. So if you can get married, why can't anyone else? Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, Scott wants to get married too, guys.
Yeah, as long as it's another human, I should specify, because I am against marrying inanimate objects or animals. I am against that. But if you want,
because animals can't consent. No, that's the legitimate reason why there is a real reason why it's immoral to push bestiality, because that shit is A, disgusting, and B, just wrong.
Now, are you mad that animals cannot consent?
Fuck no, I don't want to fuck animals.
Okay, alright, just making sure. Just want to clarify. This episode didn't exactly turn out to be as long as what it should have, but we're so excited about the trilogy of the next 3 episodes, we wanted to give you a sneak peek right now. Your greatest desire, if you go back to episode 3, Nick's greatest desire is to what, Nick?
Birth a child?
Bear and birth a child is Nick's greatest desire, but we talk about on that episode that he would need the uterus, the eggs, the tubes, and so on and so forth. Now, if you go back to that episode, you can hear everything that we were going to say about it, but if a doctor, a surgeon, was capable of performing that surgery onto you to where you could have both orifices and reproduce with yourself and whatnot, like we talk about on the episode, that doctor, in my opinion, should be paid a shitload of money to be capable of doing that successfully. Would you agree or disagree?
I agree. I mean, he also has to think about the moral consequences of it. I mean, he's giving me the ability to reproduce at will. Yeah, he needs to get a lot, not just a lot of money from the job. He needs to get a lot of money directly from me.
The next female I talk to, I'll ask her if she used to be a guy, and then she'll be fucking offended and get no pussy at all, because I just asked a female that's been a female her whole life if she used to be a guy, and she's like, what? Do I look fucking manly? And I'm just like, I accidentally slept, well, not accidentally, but I slept one time with a female that used to be a guy, so I'm just like, I just want to make sure that like I don't repeat that, so that's why I'm asking if you were a guy. And then they're like, hang on, wait, you had sex with a guy? And I'm like, no, I didn't have sex with a guy, I had sex with a girl that used to be a guy. And she's like, wait, so you had sex with a guy? And I'm like, that's not how it fucking works. And then I end up blowing the brains
They
out.
take hormones and everything. They smell pretty too.
I'd probably be okay with it after I vomit. Like, I'd be okay with it. Like,
okay,
yeah.
I'm ready now.
Yeah. I'd feel like dirty.
And then he'd call up and be like, dude, I got one
I'd feel
hole for each of us.
violated. Exactly. I'd call the squad. I would feel violated.
I'd call the squad.
They call us the Slam Squad.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Let's say that you could be a female for one day, just one. Like Cinderella, at the stroke of midnight, your ass is turning back into a pumpkin. That isn't exactly how it works, but you get what I'm saying. Basically, what I'm saying is at the stroke of midnight, your vag will, instead of invert, it will protrude back into a penis. So if you're a woman for 24 hours, what do you have to accomplish in that 24 hours?
I just want to point this out. I may have already said this. I said this about Greg off outside of recording, but my God, James, you'd make a fugly looking woman.
Really? You think so?
Like, I said Greg was unfuckable no matter what gender.
Now, to be fair, James already has one tit.
Yeah. I'm
You're
not
right.
too far.
He'll just be that girl who's awkward sized for her whole life. He'll have to cut his bras in half and sew them back together. He'll be like...
Scott, I want to thank you for the time that you put in on the show, and I hope that you had fun while you were involved with it.
Well, yes, I have.
But on that note, that does it for another episode of 30 Minutes of Mayhem. I have been your host. My name is Michael Mayhew, and I have been here with my co-hosts,
James,
Greg,
and Scott.
Don't forget to check us out on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, Android, YouTube, all of those places, and donate to us on PayPal because we could really use the money. And that's it. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. Later, fellas.